Hey, RPM Trade Vietnam in this bitch. What up, y'all? I'm gonna do a quick little live stream just because I wanted to address a disagreement between me and Freedom Inc. That man is like my brother. I just feel a kinship with this dude, and I hardly know him. Check his YouTube channel out, Freedom Inc. He's just a good old American dude, man. Like, yeah, man. He's got a crazy life story. He's been through a lot of shit that would have broke most men break under that kind of pressure, and he's holding it down. He's a good dude, man. Salute to him. But like I would expect when me taking this controversial position, what up, Angel? I'm taking this controversial position to not only be a gun right activist that is as loud as I am with the open carry demonstrations, how I talk, how I act, the merch, all this shit is loud. Not only am I doing that, but I also don't like the Constitution and I speak against it often. I refuse to be labeled as a constitutionalist or a Second Amendment advocate because I think the Second Amendment has gotten us into the trouble in the first place. So I want to explain this. I may have explained it before, but I want to explain this with a good example that I have so that Freedom Inc. can at least understand where I'm coming from, even if he disagrees with me after. And then other people can see where I'm coming from so they can choose to agree or disagree. But let's take something that we already know and we can find a similar situation where we have a natural right and they have a gripe with it that we can recognize. That's that Second Amendment, so-called Second Amendment, this God-given right. And all of the gun control that they already got into place. It's not like they're talking about maybe possibly doing gun control. They have already used the Second Amendment to create a gap between us and the government to the point that JB laughed at us about the idea of hanging on to the AR-15 in case we needed to stop a tyrannical government. He laughed at us. Said we're going to need F-16s for that. He thought we were fucking silly to even think that what we have would even be enough. He was pointing out that there's a gap. The gap can only come from the Second Amendment getting the American citizens to accept a debate about something that's undebatable so we can meet them in a court of law that they control while they say, hey, we have something to discuss. And then we go, okay, we'll discuss it. There is no discussion. The fight should come whenever they start fucking talking that shit. But the problem is the Second Amendment has did exactly what it is that I'm accusing it of. And that is to calm the hearts and the minds and the trigger fingers of these patriotic Americans so that we can play a friendly game of tennis back and forth in a court of law about something that's undebatable when they have total expectation that when we lose that fight that we accept it. That's the expectation. You think they arguing with us, thinking that when they do this that no one's going to listen anyway? They expect, and they have record all of this time of people complying with shit that they shouldn't comply with, because it has made its way into law status and we decided this in court and y'all got all these fucking case studies. I'm telling you, it is the problem. The problem isn't just we refuse to defend the Second Amendment. That's the second flaw that we had. That's strike two. Strike number one is allowing them to think that it was up for debate, that we would even meet them in civil discourse in a fucking court of law to play a game that we should have been telling them, well, why are we in here for? You can't win. Don't you know that? Don't you know that you can argue me up and down all fucking day with all your litigation, all your bullshit, and I'm never going to fucking let that go? It's pointless to fucking argue with you. We didn't do that, and that becomes a problem because we said, agreed, I'll meet you in court. Let me get my suit and tie. That's what we said, and that's where the fuck up is. By allowing them to think that they can calmly and casually constantly address us in a fucking court of law about some shit that has created a fucking gap between us and them. This is, to me, this is just undebatable, honest observation. If you see all of the fucking the issues, where we come from in history, and you call everything what it is, you would have to say that the Second Amendment is not protecting us. We know that it's not true. 250 years we've been fighting them about the same shit. This is honest observation, not my opinion. It's not something that I'm kind of skewing. It's observation. We still arguing about it. Worried about what the ATF gonna do about some shit that was written 250 years ago that y'all act like was golden and somehow something else fucked it up. No, the fact that it's there has given them the confidence to keep marching on shit, whether they're wrong or not, so they can see if they can get the desired result, even if they're wrong and they have been wrong and getting the desired result. gun control went all over this fucking unconstitutional anyway. Do you see what I'm saying, bro? You see what I'm saying? It just sucks. It's hard. It's painful for a man with military experience that honors this fucking country and the flag to look at the Constitution and say, you did this to me. It's hard. Not for me, though, because I already know what it is. I'm looking right at the answer. I'm looking right at the answer, bro. That's what I feel like. That's what I think. And I think it's undebatable. So if Freedom Inc. or anybody else disagree with me, that's fine. I don't care about the nuances in between. As long as both of us know that government is the motherfucking problem and that they're fighting us so diligently with one goal in mind, as long as we agree on that and that they the problem, I don't care how you got there or where it is that you're coming from. We could try to preserve the Constitution, but I think the Constitution is so flawed that it don't even got nothing to do with me. It's kind of like the religious thing where they say, the destination for my soul and how it's going to be weighed is about the moral choices that I choose to make throughout my life. That just seems like it makes moral sense. But then people say original sin has made me guilty. What that got to do with me? I didn't use my moral decisions in my life to fall into any of that. Not by default, not as a fucking newborn child. You can't default me into that by blaming somebody else's moral choices. And you say that I can be free from these moral punishments that I somehow magically deserve when I didn't choose that. The remedy also didn't come from me either. And it all sounds funny. It don't sound like morality to me. To assume that the Constitution was ever even meant to protect me, I think is a flaw. I would write my own Constitution. I could write my own code of conduct and how government is to address me. And there's the video, which is strange. I found this video a couple of years ago and I thought it was strange, and I kept it, and I watched the video multiple times. I haven't watched it in probably like a year or so. But I am going to watch it again today now that I'm thinking about it. Is that it makes more sense that I have my own Constitution, personal Constitution, that you can't get notarized and everything and call this shit legit. There's some other little legal tricks you can do to get them to default into a contract with you, that they do have to address you according to what it is that you say is grounds for interaction with police. And even within all of that, even your own magical writing can't free you from obligations and responsibilities if you create a victim. It's just up, man. Natural law is already suffice, man. It's already done enough. There's nothing that anybody on either side of the freedom fight can do about changing that. But your own personal Constitution sounds way more legit, because then you can really tailor that shit, and then it can be very well understood where it is that you're coming from and what it is that you expect between more voluntary interaction, void of force or violence or coercion between you and government. Is the only thing that makes sense. We need to go to the fucking very bottom line of these things and not stop where you feel like your patriotism is calling you to stop or to recognize or to constantly engage them in a game that you lose it, and you are going to fucking lose if you let them run that shit. That's the whole fucking plan in the first place. I tell them throw it out. Because whether you believe in the Constitution or not, if they throw it out and you know that it's all tyrannical when they do that and you're going to fight them, you actually do sound like me anyway. I'm just telling you to already know that that's where they're going. We should have never gave our faith into that shit in the first place, because look at where it's gotten us and where it's going to get us. These are honest observations that I'm making. So I tell them throw it out now, and if they think it's sweet when they throw it out, they're going to have a fucking rude awakening, because we never needed that shit and we're going to show them. They can do whatever they want to do to it. It ain't going to change. I know you feel like I do, bro. I know other people do too. I'm taking it one step further. Call it out for not fucking protecting us all of this fucking time in the first place. Actually being used as leverage to get us to be docile while they fight us and win over and over again for 250 years to slowly curb whenever they think politically they have a political advantage to do so. They do this shit, and we have the Constitution to thank for that, because we have dropped our guard, engaged them in something that's undebatable, and watched them win over and over again. It is the problem. But it's the problem, man. I don't think I can be changed, because I'm going to need more than pointing out the secondary issue that we have refrained from defending the Constitution. I'm going to need more than that for me to come up off of what it is that I'm saying, because I think even in the acceptance of them beating us through the Constitution and us not standing up for it. All of that is wrapped in the illusion of the fucking law society, that is them that we got the fucking shit from. For people that fucking think like that, they can't get their minds around that we never got any of these rights from government in the first place. And even if you understand that and you still go along, it's out of the fucking fear of what it is they're going to do to you if you don't abide. All of this is bullshit, immoral conduct about something that I'm telling you, I'm saying, man, it was undebatable in the first place, man. It just happens to be working in their favor, bro, because it works very well in doing that. I'm going to call that Constitution whatever it is that I see it doing well. Not what it was intended to do. Not what it was that we should have been did. And we should have been did that. But it should have been from day one to tell them that we're never going to meet them in a courtroom about some shit that they couldn't win anyway. We told them, okay, game on, play ball. Let's go. Let's go talk about it. And then when we lose, even if we fought right away, it was like, what was the court case for? What'd you go there for? What is that? What is that? What's that part? Like, I need an explanation of what that is. To engage them in debate about this shit, the whole time thinking, y'all can't win. They never brought that energy. Even way back then when this country's supposed to be so fucking great and we are in a decline in this fucking country, they've been knocking on the door of that fucking total gun ban and gun confiscation. They've been knocking on the fucking door. Jump through the hoops. ATF says do this. Get this background check. The whole fucking Knicks background check is a fucking infringement. But they called it an amendment. Man, hey, man. I don't know. To each his own. I'm just glad I'm on your side and that you on mine. That's all I even really care about. We can debate and talk that other stuff after we fucking get rid of them, because it's going to be us or them one day, I think. They want to make us like China. They would never tell a man, no matter how heavily populated the earth is and how they want to say that it's overpopulated, which is not. But we know that they're harping on that. They're actually linking that to this idea of the what do you call it? The climate change. So now you know it's a big issue. Overpopulation, carbon emissions, the electric car, renewable energy. All of these things are very big topics, and it's all related to how they try to angle humanity into perceiving the planet as being overpopulated. No matter how big they want to make that issue with the overpopulation and everything attached to it, they cannot sensibly tell a man, you better not have 12 kids, because we have punishments and rules and regulations about you doing that. We will come get your kids. We will force you into fucking castration or any other thing like that. They can't even begin to talk like that. And we know it already sounds crazy, but if they can get it on in their magical paper, we're using climate control and climate change and all of this other shit as the foundation. Something that sounds crazy now would at least be respected as what the law says and blah, blah, blah. And if we don't even respect it, they go, well, there's a punishment involved, because then they also got to threaten you after they fucking say everything that they say to you. All of a sudden, it will get some traction to get support by law-abiding citizens and all these other people who are already on board with the climate change foundation of the control that they want to have. People will support that shit if it made it on the paper, but it sounds crazy when I'm giving you the example right now. I think the gun laws are the same way. It only gets its teeth once it makes it onto the paper, so you can further wrap people in this hypnosis of the illusion of the authority that they have and the threat that they always imply. It takes all of that for them to do it. If the constitutional shit wasn't on paper about these fucking gun laws, it would sound just as strange to everybody as it would them to control my reproductive practices. What if I want to have 12 kids, bro? I don't care what they say about their population control. If I had 12 kids, they gonna deal with it. They're going to accept it and bitch about it, because they have nothing on paper that says that they can come do something to me about it. And it keeps it from looking weird. I mean, it keeps it in that realm of fucking cruel and unusual, strange, crossing the fucking line, infringements. It keeps it looking like that when they would want to do something so powerful that ain't even on their fucking paper nowhere. You get it on the paper and then it becomes debatable, and that is the problem, bro. That's just it, man. Because they can't tell me not to have 12 fucking kids. I don't give a fuck how many motherfuckers is on the planet. We'll quadruple this shit in 4 years if every man had fucking 12 kids. Fuck them. Fuck them. But we can talk that shit in their face about that, but you can't say fuck y'all. about that gun shit, and they go, well, we already wrote the punishments down on paper. You can say fuck me all you want. Once they say go, we'll go on your ass. And that's what they thinking about, something that's just as natural. If I can reproduce, they can't tell me what I can do to preserve the life that I created when I say I want the AR-15 to protect my kids. It shouldn't even be debatable, but it is. How'd it get that way? RPM Trey Vietnam and this bitch, Wu Bang, man. Y'all go get a motherfucking gun, man. I ain't special. Go get a gun and then just refuse to be lied to or played or threatened by a bunch of motherfuckers that bleed like you. And if you do that, you are going to begin to sound like me. Take it seriously, you're going to begin to sound like me, even if it's only in your own head. And I'm calling out to you, to the gray guys too. If you're gray, that's cool. Do more with that by rushing to the while you lurking in the shadows. Lurk your ass in the shadows to go protect all of the whistleblowers. When Isaac Cappy and the fucking Boeing guy and all these other people, the young boxer dude who just said all that weird shit about them eating babies and all this other crazy ass shit, and then tried to recant his fucking statements about that shit out of fear. And none of these gray guys, nobody who says that they agree with me even, nobody ran to go defend him, so that when he started talking, he knew that if anybody showed up to hurt him, they was gonna die for trying to hurt him. Let him talk his shit. Nobody came to help him with that. These are the problems. You see the problem, then you go, what can we do to keep that from being a problem? And then nobody thinks of the fucking solution, and it's easy. Oh, they keep saying he on drugs, that boy on drugs, and I don't give a fuck if he was. Even if he was, society is real good at saying stupid shit like, that man on drugs. Thanks for that, Angel, because that's a good point. Yep, that's him, Ryan Garcia. He's an interesting dude. He really is. He's kind of weird. But you know what, though? I get out here to do what I do so that people can call me weird, corny, overdoing it, all this other shit. But I'm going, none of those characteristics that anybody want to pin on me can make what I'm saying wrong. So stop judging people all that shit and just go, motherfucker, did Ryan Garcia say something that was real or not? I don't give a fuck if he was on drugs. If it took him being on drugs to say some shit that was real, clap. Can we get a round of applause for the fucking cocaine? Huh? The fuck out of here. None of that will bother me at all. It's got to be true or not. And to get grown-ass men in a country like this with all this virtual signaling and shit, where people can't just go, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, and I feel like you're trying to play me by trying to distract me with that shit, I don't give a fuck if he's on drugs. Is it real or not? And we investigating. Here we go. And then motherfuckers go looking for the answer. If you did that, they wouldn't be able to constantly play you where he's on drugs. I don't never fall for none of that shit, bro. And if he died, he didn't kill himself either. Fuck that. And he should be surrounded by armed people going, man, don't touch the boy, man. Let him talk his shit. Don't touch him. He gonna say what the fuck he want. Did he threaten anybody? No. Then he is gonna talk that shit. And anybody say he on drugs, you piss in the cup. I bet you are. I bet you are. CNN reporters fucking doing coke and weed and fucking meth and all type of stupid, man, all them motherfucking kiss my dick too. Fuck all of them. All this fake ass news and all this other shit. We are fucking surrounded. Constitution didn't do shit to keep us from being surrounded. Border fucked up, money fucked up. That Constitution didn't do shit. The only thing it really did real well is got us to be docile about something we should have been fighting fucking years ago. Way before I got here. Undebatable. 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 I think it's undebatable what I'm saying. You got to get one step in to say, man, we let them think that it was debatable. When they start talking shit, we did not fucking fight them off of us when they start winning that shit when they shouldn't have been winning. That comes into play. You know, you can go down a list of different things of how we fucked it up. The first fuck up was telling them that we'll meet them in the court because maybe we have something to discuss when there was nothing to discuss at all. Easy. RPM Trey Vietnam and this bitch, man. Go get a gun today, man. That's what y'all need to do. Learn how to use the motherfucker. Bring your big heart with you and be capable and willing to hug anybody who wants to love you and then destroy your enemies. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I aim to do that wholeheartedly, is to try to love everybody because I see my kids in everybody. The way I feel about them is the way somebody feels about you. That's why my soul won't let me just fucking hurt you for nothing. But I will reserve all of the pain for somebody who don't give a fuck about none of the sweet shit that I'm talking about, that can't respect human fucking life. I will happily hurt you then. That's my off switch as soon as you don't give a fuck. Neither do I. That's super fair. These are reaction. Defense is a reaction. That's what I'm coming with. Nothing but defense, man. Nothing but reactions. I will react to the world. I will not initiate a goddamn thing. That's why I got out here instead of fucking wilding the fuck out. I went, man, extend your arms for the hug first. And we need to extend arms for a fucking revolution. I'm with that. And I don't care what nobody say about nothing. All of the censorship and how, oh, if you speak like this online, they gonna come to your house. Where the fuck are you at? Then you're not gonna help me? You're not gonna protect me? Oh, then they got you too. You scared of dying. You scared of what the fuck they gonna do to you. You will leave your fellow American out there hanging when you supposedly know better. You ready. You got the proper angles, man. Bring your gray ass out here. Why I don't got a whole bunch of guys surrounding me being like, don't touch him. Nobody touch him. Y'all are weird, man. The Garcia boy, why he didn't hire bodyguards before he started talking that shit? Why he not carrying a gun for himself? I would do all of that. If I had that money, I'd be like, yep, 2 or 3 guards around me at all fucking times when I'm out in public, and I got a gun myself, and I'm gonna talk my shit. And if he's not on drugs, he should constantly take drug tests every week, with as little privacy as necessary, while presenting it in a public space. Which I'm pretty sure you got to get drug tested for his boxing shit anyway. All of this he doing drug shit is a media front because they just mad that this boy is trying to out them and their friends, and everybody's fucking worried about being outed and what the possible consequences are. But deep down, I don't really feel like none of y'all gonna do shit. You're not gonna do shit about the drug trafficking, the child trafficking, the fake ass fucking bullshit money, the border being fucked up, your elections being fucked up, the police brutality and shit, the illusion, the contradiction between one state and the next about the fucking weed shit, while we are watching an obvious event of mass constitutional violations. As soon as you see one state give the fucking weed up so that they say we not finna be arresting y'all about no fucking weed shit, is legalized, and then you see any other fucking state say we'll throw you in jail for that, there's a fight on your hands now because somebody's wrong. Somebody's not quite in tune with the Constitution. And it's easy to see that if one state stands up to give the freedom for a man to fucking choose what he puts in his own fucking body when the food is already fucked up, that anybody else who won't do that is further away from the idea of freedom than this other state. And that means that we got something to talk about, and we will fight y'all into compliance and submission about the weed. Every state that makes weed illegal should be in a fucking physical fight, if necessary, with other states who have freed that fucking weed, if y'all really going to defend that Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But we never see that shit because that Constitution ain't standing on nothing. It ain't standing on nothing. Nowhere. What? Ha! I have yet to see it in play. I only see it in play when it moves to slowly favor what it is that they got going on. And they will slowly mold that shit to favor the ATF and other fucking law enforcement agencies, knocking on doors about who got what gun and what the fuck was he saying with that gun. That's why I do what the fuck I do. 5.5 years of hugging people out in the fucking public. When they come to my door, just know they came to the door for the huggable guy. That's why I win. That's why I be slaying the fuck out the dragon. Man. Woo! Peace and love to y'all, man. Do your thing. You know what to do.